Hi, and welcome back to Thone's James Nibbles number 103, Meeting Specific Needs, Part 3 of 6. We're going to be talking today about obedience. James chapter 5, verses 13 through 18 are the source scriptures for this teaching. Lack of obedience to God is sin. Why is this in the Bible? Understanding several important lessons about sin. The communication relates to church discipline. Some churches have forsaken the concept of church discipline and therefore have walked away from a great blessing that the Lord has for us, in that if we can help people by showing them what they're doing is wrong, then we can joyfully return them to our church in full membership. And so there is a great thing about we think about discipline in a negative way, but in fact God always meant it as in a positive way, to correct what is wrong so that there can be full fellowship once again. The application to me. This commentary on obedience comes from Warren Wiersbe's Study Bible, and I'm just quoting him here. The leaders should be in charge of the discipline of the congregation. This section has some practical lessons that we must not overlook. First, disobedience to God can lead to sickness. This was David's experience when he tried to hide his sins. Secondly, sin affects the whole church. We can never sin alone, for sin has a way of growing and infecting others. This person had to confess the sins of the church to the church because he or she had sinned against the church. Third, healing, physical and spiritual, comes from sin is dealt with. So we first recognize that sin may be the reason for an illness, or it may not be, and that's not for us to judge. But if a sin is involved, then the sinner needs to and become sick. The sinner needs to confess to the church. But if they're really sick, they can't go to church to confess. Therefore, the church leaders, the spiritual leaders of the church, come and receive that confession at the time of the healing or the hope for healing. God leads us with, the church is led by spiritual leaders. My response: Lord, thank you for giving your church discerning spiritual leaders. If we don't have discerning spiritual leaders, all we have is a na 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 na, I know what you did. And spiritual leaders don't do that. Spiritual leaders lead by example and understand the frailty of the human spirit. And my response: Lord, thank you for giving your churches discerning spiritual leaders. And we'll talk to you next.